Dive into the gripping tale of sisters in life and death, a story of love, betrayal, and redemption set against the misty mountains of Saga. Follow two sisters bound by a dark past, navigating a world of vice, violence, and unbreakable bonds. From chilling murders to daring escapes, their journey unveils raw human emotions and haunting secrets. Will their sisterhood survive the shadows of their choices? Tune in to uncover a saga that will keep you captivated until the very end. Last night, I dreamt of Sisterhood again. The rain fell heavily, reflecting light that made the night sky as bright as day, as if everything had returned to the moment we first met. Back then, I was just a child, and she was in the prime of her youth, radiant and full of life. More importantly, back then, she was still alive. Over 20 years ago, Sisterhood killed two men in the mountains of Saga. Both died on a rainy day. While the man stood naked before her, she grabbed a hoe by the bedside and struck him with all her strength. One blow, and he was dead, blood pooling across the floor. She wasn't afraid. As dawn broke, she covered the bodies with two pieces of cloth and dragged them outside, up the mountain. If blood seeped through, it left a vivid red trail on the ground. The color was striking, strangely beautiful, but when the wind blew, the stench of blood rose, clinging to her face. Sisterhood buried the bodies in a pine forest and returned alone. Standing behind the house, she vomited violently, as if trying to expel her very soul. Of the two men, one was her father, the other was mine. When I met Sisterhood, she was already the youngest call girl in Saga. The term call girl wasn't quite accurate. It came from the south, sounding softer, so people used it. Back then, Saga didn't have many tall buildings, only clusters of thatched and wooden houses in the northern part of town. Men in the area, when idle, would line up at Sisterhood's place for entertainment. Saga's nights fell early, especially during the rain, leaving the streets deserted. Only the path to Sisterhood's house was busy, marked by the deepest footprints. My mother died early, and I followed my father as he wandered. When we arrived in Saga, I quickly heard stories about Sisterhood. An old woman named Tercy often came to the area to solicit clients, sometimes bringing peanut candy for the children and sharing old tales. Tercy was actually a madam who managed Sisterhood. Having survived a fire, half her face was scarred, leaving only her nostrils and eye sockets visible. She always wore a high-necked gray sweater, pulling it up to cover her face, and spoke with her hand over her mouth. The fire, it seemed, was somehow tied to Sisterhood. Tercy oversaw a dozen girls, some blind, some deaf, unable to do much else, stumbling into this trade. Only Sisterhood was whole and strikingly beautiful. Clearly, she didn't choose this life, so Tercy kept her bound with an iron chain used to lock gates, secured with a padlock. The chain was long enough for Sisterhood to shuffle to the outdoor toilet or, sometimes, brave the cold rain to breathe fresh air, leaving footprints like the lash marks my father left on my body. I was 12 then, a girl, but often beaten. Whenever my father struck me cruelly, I'd sneak into his room and steal the little welfare money he had as revenge. That was something my mother taught me. Before being forced to marry my father, she was a thief. In times of hunger, she survived with a special embroidery needle. As she lay dying, she pressed it into my palm, fearing no one would care for me, and that I wouldn't survive. Knowing my father's cruelty, she left me this seemingly dirty plan. The first time I met Sisterhood was on a freezing day. I'd become addicted to stealing and couldn't resist breaking into someone's house, only to get caught red-handed. The neighbors were lenient, but my father, humiliated, dragged me outside, threw me into the mud, and made me strip off my outer clothes, leaving me in a thin shirt, barefoot on the ground. My feet ached from the cold. Just then, Tercy appeared, carrying a large basket steaming with freshly made B&H chain. The sound of clanking chains followed. It was Sisterhood. In the freezing weather, perhaps impatient to avoid slow business, Tercy had brought her out. I'll never forget. Even though I was numb with cold, my eyes saw clearly. Amid the howling rain, everything a blur of white, Sister Ba was the only splash of color, breathtakingly beautiful. She wore a thick black cotton jacket, her black braids cascading down, cheeks flushed, and a sweet smile on her lips. Brother Thanage, why haven't you visited me lately? Got a new girl and forgot about me? She teased, free and unburdened, as if the chain didn't bind her. My father, under her playful words, softened instantly. The fist about to strike my face relaxed. Raindrops fell like petals, landing on Sister Ba's head and shoulders, and on my trembling body. Each of their jests pierced me with pain, nearly bringing me to tears. Oh, whose child is this? Sister Ba noticed me, her eyes sparkling, brows slightly furrowed, as if she couldn't bear to see me like this. Don't let her freeze. My father looked at me with disgust. My daughter, a useless thing. So it's a girl? I thought it was a delicate boy. Sister Ba stepped toward me, her snow-white fingers gently touching my cheek. My tense nerves snapped, and I burst into sobs. Poor little thing, you need a hot bath. Sister Ba turned to my father. I'll take her to my place. Brother Thanage, come pick her up tonight, alright, don't bother with her. A useless thing, better off dead like her mother. My father's face was vicious. Since my mother's death, he'd blamed me for everything, words I'd heard countless times. But Sister Ba wasn't afraid. Her vibrant, carefree demeanor seemed to pierce through the thick snow, unstoppable. She bent down, picked up the cotton shoes my father had tossed aside, dusted off the mud, and gently slipped them onto my frozen feet. As she led me past my father, she whispered, "Tonight, I'll wait for you." Those 5 words melted my father's icy expression, revealing a greedy tenderness. But that tenderness disgusted me. I thought Sister Ba felt the same. When she glanced back at me, her eyes were blank, unfocused. Later, I learned she looked that way with most men. That night, I felt a mother's warmth for the first time. Though young, Sister Ba cared for me tenderly. She heated water, let me soak in a wooden tub, and wiped my hair with a clean cloth, her gentle hands tracing the scars on my body. The chain on her ankle dragged heavily across the floor, but her movements were light. In the steam, I gazed at her face, trying to recall my mother's image. When I came to, my eyes were red from crying. Sister Ba wrapped me in a soft blanket, ruffled my hair, and smiled. You poor thing, crying like that is pitiful. Remember, use this trick on those you want to deal with, but when facing yourself, no matter how much it hurts, swallow it inside. Before she finished, there was a knock at the door. As expected, in the howling north wind, my father braved the cold to come. I peeked from the doorway. He looked drunk, eyes bloodshot, and as soon as he saw Sister Ba, he scooped her up, slung her over his shoulder, and carried her into the room. I heard Sister Ba say, gently, "There's a child nearby," but her voice was quickly drowned out. All I heard was my father's heavy breathing, the creaking of the bamboo bed, and Sister Ba's stifled moans. I covered my ears, tiptoed to the frozen window, and pushed it open, letting the cold wind rush in to drown out everything, including me. From then on, my father often took me to Sister Ba's place. If anyone asked, he used me as an excuse, saying things like, "The girl's unruly, motherless since young, always running to women," as if it were perfectly justified. Tercy knew my father was generous, so she treated me well, sometimes taking me along. I saw her boil a small pot of bitter Chinese medicine, forcing Sister Ba to drink it, the acrid smell making me tremble. I didn't know what the medicine was for. Later, I learned it stopped her periods, allowing her to work day and night. No wonder people cursed Tercy behind her back, saying she wasn't human. But Sister Ba never cursed her. In front of me, she always spoke of happy things, trying to make me smile. But I couldn't be happy. Though I tried to stop stealing, my father's hatred for me didn't lessen. It grew as I began to resemble my mother more. When he was short on money and couldn't see Sister Ba, he tormented me more, even making me strip and kneel on the floor for beatings. When his hand brushed my budding chest, I flinched and instinctively pushed him away. His expression changed. He stood tall, eyeing my body, then said in a low voice, "Get on the bed." No. For the first time, I defied him, sensing an indescribable danger. Before, when he beat me, I endured silently, knowing resistance was futile and begging pointless. Slap. A blow landed on my face, blood spurting from my nose, the metallic smell filling my nostrils. I stood, grabbed my cotton jacket, and tried to run, but he seized my arm, yanked me back, and threw me to the floor. That night, one I'll never forget, I don't know where the strength came from. After he fell asleep, battered and bruised, I stumbled out of the room. Crossing the snowy courtyard, I climbed over the bamboo fence. The only thing I carried was my mother's needle. When I dragged myself to Sister Ba's door, dawn was breaking. Behind me was a long trail of blood from the cracks on my hands and feet. Sister Ba's face paled. Seeing me crouched on the road, rubbing my wounds, she ran to me, pulling me into her arms. In that moment, I felt warmth not just clean and bright, but tender. The next afternoon, my father came looking. Before that, Sister Ba told me many stories. She said her father abused her, locking her in a cattle shed like an animal, her only joy raising a flock of chicks. She tried escaping several times, but her father always caught her. Each time she ran, he'd strangle one of her chicks in front of her. Sister Ba said, "That's when I realized some people, as long as they're alive, I'll never live well. The only way was to wish them dead." Her wish didn't come true. Instead, she heard her father plan to sell her. That night, she decided to make her wish reality. She acted. The body was buried in the mountains, but the blood in the house couldn't be cleaned. In panic, she set fire to the house, not expecting it to spread to the firewood, engulfing the area. Tercy, living across the way, rushed into the flames to save her. That's how Tercy's face was burned. Sister Ba owed her a lifelong debt, so she was chained here, as if falling from one fire into another. But she said she had no regrets, at least she didn't wait to die, she acted. When my father's knock came, I curled up, trembling. Sister Ba, as if hearing my heart, gripped my hand tightly. "This time, I'll help you." I used my mother's needle to unlock the chain on her ankle, making it easier for her to act. One swing of the hoe, and blood sprayed everywhere. I gave her my cotton jacket to wear. She insisted on dragging the body alone, not telling me where she buried it. A day after my father's death, his friend came looking. Tercy put on a fake smile, barely managing to send them away, then confronted Sister Ba. "Speak," she said, lighting a cigarette and taking a deep drag. "What happened to Thanch?" Sister Ba bit her finger, giggling. "How would I know? He stayed the night, left before dawn." Tercy spat. "You think I believe you? Need me to spell out what happened with your father back then? Don't think you're untouchable, I've always got you under my thumb." I saw Sister Ba's eyes tremble, as if something shattered and fell to the cold floor, turning to frost. She'd endured Tercy's chains, thinking she owed her a favor. But now she realized what she'd paid wasn't gratitude, it was her entire life, just a transaction. Before Sister Ba could respond, Tercy pointed at me in the corner. "And this girl? A living witness. You still dare say you're not involved in Than's disappearance?" Sister Ba stepped forward, pulled my head to her chest, and covered my ears. "This kid gets along with me. What's wrong with her coming here? Don't drag her into this. Looks like you plan to keep her," Tercy sneered. "Want to treat her like a sister? Teach her how to charm men?" Sister Ba didn't answer, just smiled and ruffled my hair. Her smile made me feel safe. Yesterday morning, when she returned after disposing of the body, she saw me wearing my father's cotton shoes, leaving a long trail of footprints. I did it to make people think he left on his own, helping Sister Ba avoid suspicion. After the rain, it was still cold. I stomped hard, stopping right in front of her. In that moment, Sister Ba's expression was deeply moved. She looked into my eyes and said, From now on, anyone who dares mistreat you, I'll make them die a bad death. I thought the same. Sister Ba was stubborn. No one could control her. While Tercy was still figuring out what to do, neighbors who knew my family came, planning to take me to the local police. But Sister Ba hid me in a small room, telling them I'd run away. That girl's stubborn, insisted on finding her father. I couldn't stop her, and she just ran off, she said, eyes teary, convincing everyone. We got along well. If she comes back, I'll take care of her. The neighbors clearly didn't want the burden of me. It was nearly tea, and everyone was busy. They left some of my father's things and promised to stay in touch. Tercy stood by, silent, with a cold smile. When everyone left, she bluntly told me she'd decided to keep me to work here. No need for thanks, just obey her. I vaguely understood what this meant and felt terrified. Sister Ba gently pressed my shoulder. She never mentioned that I'd unlocked her chain. I sensed she was planning something. Late at night, we slept in the same bed, heads close, as she whispered, our lives must not be buried in this place. Sapa was small. Just then, a new official arrived for an inspection. That evening, someone came, saying they had important business with Tercy. His name was Vien, called Secretary Vien, working at the commune office. Years ago, he'd frequented Tercy's place and was impressed. Now, he sought her help. He said the new official found Sapa cold, the roads tough, and the early nights and constant rain boring. Could Tercy arrange some girls to entertain him? Without a word, Tercy thought of Sister Ba. The next day, she dressed Sister Ba in an ODI and sent her off with Secretary Vien. To save face, she even removed Sister Ba's chain. Unexpectedly, a few hours later, Sister Ba was sent back. Secretary Vien waved dismissively at Tercy, saying the official had peculiar tastes and wasn't interested in ordinary beautiful women. Sister Ba is the best here, Tercy sighed, smoking. If she's not enough, I'm out of options. I know Sister Ba's qualities, but everyone knows she's the top girl here, serving many clients. The official doesn't want someone so used. Secretary Vien lowered his voice. He prefers someone untouched, ideally young. Tercy was shocked. Who'd let an underage girl do this? Even animals wouldn't. Before she finished, Secretary Vien silenced her. Then her eyes fell on me. I was pouring water nearby, feeling like a rabbit caught by an eagle, trembling. What followed was a long persuasion. First, Secretary Vien convinced Tercy. In Sapa, she ran the biggest flesh trade. Offending the new official, who might start with a fire to burn her down, was risky. Then Tercy persuaded Sister Ba and me. She said she had no choice, that I shouldn't suffer this. But since I was here, eating her food, I had to follow her rules. I'd serve clients eventually, starting a few years early didn't matter. Besides, this was an official. If I pleased him, my future would be secure, and Sister Ba wouldn't have to worry. Tercy spoke until her spit flew, but I only felt chills, my mind filled with repulsive images. I cried, crawling to Sister Ba for help, like when I fled my father. Sister Ba was silent. When Tercy demanded her stance, she patted my wrist and, to my shock, smiled sympathetically. You're here now, no need to hold back. I think you should go. In that moment, my body went cold. It was as if the icy wind outside rushed into me through my nose. My vision blurred, only hearing Sister Ba say, "Go serve the official well. Don't be afraid. I'll take you." Mechanically, she pushed me into the bathroom and combed my hair in front of the mirror. When she led me out, I saw her holding a small bundle. Secretary Vien asked, "What's that?" She smiled. "Clothes for the girl to change into after. She's young, might not handle it." Her voice was light, as if discussing something ordinary. On her ankle was the chain she'd voluntarily asked to be locked again. The scene shocked and enraged me. I couldn't believe she'd changed so fast. Just moments ago, she promised to protect me, now pushing me into an abyss. I hated myself for trusting her, hated my own helplessness. In the vehicle, my mind was foggy, thinking only of running or dying. It was freezing, the old tricycle rattling. Where could I run? Like Sister but burying bodies into the deep mountains? Would I freeze to death, or to the bus station, hoping a kind stranger would take me far? But as dusk fell, I could barely tell directions. The more I thought, the more frantic I became, trembling. As the vehicle hit the main road, Sister Ba, in the front seat, suddenly turned and winked, signaling me to unlock the chain. My heart pounded, hands shaking. I bit my lip, leaned down, and carefully inserted the needle into the lock. When the chain fell, Sister Ba swiftly pulled something from the bundle, a flash of silver. It was a dagger. She pressed it to Secretary Ven's throat as he drove. He flinched, swerving the vehicle out of control, sliding to one side. Sister Ba tossed the bundle to me. Its contents filled a man's watch, a ring, money, and a rope. "Little one, hurry," she called. I understood, grabbing the rope and looping it around Secretary Ven's neck from the back seat. He cried out, "What do you want?" Sister Ba laughed coldly. "Drive, take us to the bus station." Panicked, Secretary Vien gripped the wheel. "You girls, don't be foolish, you're the one who doesn't know life from death." Sister Ba stabbed the dagger into his thigh. A scream, and blood gushed. I yanked the rope in panic, realizing how fierce Sister Ba could be. "Let's talk calmly. Why do this?" Secretary Vien, in pain, began pleading, obediently driving toward the station. "The mountain pass is blocked by a landslide. You won't get far, shut up. I told you to drive." Sister Ba opened the window, cold wind rushing in, and laughed triumphantly. In that moment, she was the carefree, defiant girl I knew, dagger bloodied, but smiling radiantly. "Men are all paper tigers, see? If you're determined, they crumble." She stared ahead, gripping Secretary Ven's face. "Watch the road. This isn't the way to the station. Try anything, and I'll kill you, believe me. I can't see the road, I'll fix it." Sweat poured from Secretary Ven's forehead. He looked at Sister Ba like she was a monster, but quickly turned away in fear. The vehicle stopped by the bus station. Secretary Vien was right. The station was deserted, the road blocked, no buses today. But Sister Ba didn't waver. The dagger stayed at his throat, her eyes flicking to the rearview mirror. "Little one, get out!" at her shout. I grabbed everything from the back seat, stuffed it into the bundle, and jumped out. But the moment I let go of the rope, Secretary Vien seized his chance, grabbing Sister Ba's wrist and yanking her hair, slamming her head against the window. Bang! I saw it all from outside, and rushed to the passenger door. But Sister Ba wasn't afraid. She gripped the dagger, its blade cutting into flesh. Secretary Vien, still clutching her hair, hadn't let go when she bit down hard, her pearly teeth now a sharp weapon, tearing a chunk of his hand. "Damn it, you!" Secretary Vien recoiled in pain. Seizing the moment, Sister Ba raised the dagger and stabbed his shoulder. The blow was brutal. Secretary Vien gritted his teeth, collapsing. Sister Ba grabbed his shirt, wiped the blood off the dagger with disgust, folded it, tucked it into her jacket, jumped out, and grabbed my shoulder. "Let's go." I didn't know where we were headed, but my heart surged with fervor. I knew Sister Ba wouldn't take me back to Dercy. She truly wanted to protect and care for me, to escape with me. To this day, the moment we held hands and ran into the thick night remains my most beautiful memory. To me, it was like a rebirth. Sister Ba felt the same. 2 days later, we didn't board a bus but hid in a quantum temple behind the station. Thirsty, we ate snow. Hungry, we ate peanut candy and beef jerky Sister Ba brought. We didn't dare light a fire, fearing discovery. Secretary Vien would surely exaggerate the story to the official, and Dercy wouldn't let us go. Many would be searching for us. But as long as Sister Ba smiled beside me, I wasn't afraid. Under the dusty quantum statue, Sister Ba bowed reverently. She said she once dreamed of quantum speaking to her. She didn't say what, but she believed Kwanum understood and wouldn't blame her for what she'd done. On our last night in the temple, I leaned against her. The moonlight outside was cold, enchanting. I asked, "What do we do next?" She said, "Don't worry. I've prayed to Kwanum, and she'll protect us. Even if it's always snowy mountains ahead, we'll find a way." She wasn't wrong. In the years that followed, Sister Ba took me to Hanoi. We moved from one small town to another, working as waitresses, shampoo girls, stealing meat at markets, begging on streets. Haunted by guilt, we fled in panic at the sight of police uniforms, constantly changing hideouts. Those days were chaotic, selling nearly all of Sister Ba's precious belongings. But no matter how poor we were, she wouldn't let me steal. For a long time, she kept my mother's needle. I didn't blame her. I knew she wanted the best for me. Every bus we took headed south, until Sapa was far behind. We settled somewhat 2 years later. Sister Ba worked at a massage parlor in Hanoi, cashier by day, dancing at a club by night. She was still beautiful, her past leaving no marks on her face, her eyes clear as water. I lied about my age, washing dishes in a PH shop's kitchen, studying at night. In Sapa, I'd studied with kids my age, so I learned quickly. Sister Ba was proud, taking me to the massage parlor's cafeteria, saying to others, "This is my little sister, so smart." The parlor's owner, and Koa, liked being called Boss Koa. He had the ear of a Hong Kong movie gangster, always in a black suit, black sunglasses, hair slicked back. He clearly liked Sister Ba. Only with her did he remove his sunglasses, revealing small, bean-like eyes with a lovesick look, almost comical. Sister Ba, wise to man, had countless ways to keep Boss Koa hooked. I often saw him bring gifts, take her for rides. I secretly asked, "Do you like Boss Koa?" She laughed. "Like what about him?" "That he likes me." I was surprised. Never loved by a man, I thought ardent admiration was precious. But to Sister Ba, it was worthless. She was beautiful, voluptuous, born to be adored by thousands. I was scrawny, plain. I imagined how it'd feel if a man was gentle with me. Even someone like Boss Koa, if he truly liked me, I'd be happy. "Remember," Sister Ba said, "men aren't reliable. Their love is either can sleep with or can't sleep with. Don't think them noble on the bed, they're all the same." Her light words sent shivers through me. In the mirror, her sad smile reflected, her upper body in only a bra, her fair skin glowing with a delicate pink. I wasn't wise enough to grasp her words' depth, only feeling Boss Koa didn't deserve her. She had every right to be choosy. Beauty doesn't last is a pity, but always true. I passed the high school entrance exam, but needed detailed household papers for enrollment. Sister Ba and I panicked, having fled frantically, leaving everything behind. Proving who we were was now a problem. I could let it go, but Sister Ba wouldn't. She said if we didn't solve this, it'd be a lifelong knot. I had no ideas, but learned. She begged Boss Koa. They said he was connected, able to get fake papers, whatever you needed. Sister Ba asked, "Can you really do it? How much?" Boss Koa laughed, arm around her. "Talking money is crude. Some things can't be bought." Though she playfully pushed him away, she understood. Days later, she brought him to our rented room. A sweltering summer night, light breeze lifting white curtains. I peeked through the door. Sister Ba didn't cry or smile, letting her soft, vibrant body entwine Boss Koa's clumsy frame. She chewed something peanut candy or jerky, eating heartily, as if only focused on food while her body moved reluctantly with him. When done, she reached for more on the nightstand. When she looked up, she caught my gaze. Surprisingly, she didn't look away, flashing a playful grin. "Little one, ever read Food and Sex Are Human Nature?" she said the next day, combing my hair. "I've got both. Isn't that great?" I bit my lip, my gloomy reflection in the mirror clear. She wasn't happy, I knew. Using her body to please men was like falling into another fire. But it was the fastest way. Within a month, Boscoa took us to a photo studio for ID pictures. We were nervous, lips pursed, unable to smile like others. My photo was ugly, but Sister Boz was different, her expression sad, yet her eyes bright. The ID worked. My name was Turn Than Dong, after my mother, her nickname for me. Sister Boz was FAMHGG. I asked if it was real. She didn't answer but told others, just call me Sister Ba. Boscoa grew more devoted. He disliked our rented place and found us a new house in Hanoi's bustling area, windows overlooking a lively road. I loved reading by the window, sometimes looking down. Each time Sister Ba returned, it was like a beautiful scene unfolding. In her saffron ODI, hair bouncing, she was like the girl crossing Sapa's cold rain toward me. Boscoa stayed about 3 nights a week. He had other girlfriends, mentioning them openly. Sister Ba wasn't angry, even curious, later sighing, all silly girls. The rift came one morning the next year. I was up for school when keys rattled angrily in the lock, followed by pounding. Scared, I stayed silent. Sister Ba, stroking her hair, opened the door. She'd been unwell, lying in her room, and looked like the wind could knock her over. Boscoa stormed in, sunglasses off, small eyes swollen with rage. Before Sister Ba could speak, he slapped her. Unsteady, she fell. You whore! I knew you weren't clean, but to give me such a filthy disease, he roared, voice hoarse, grating. Sister Ba lay there, hair covering her face. After a moment, as he raised his hand again, spewing curses, she sprang up, grabbed a wooden chair, and hurled it at him. I gasped, but she pushed me into the bathroom. The chair missed, but startled him. He'd never seen her like this, visibly shaken. Clean your mouth, Sister Ba snapped. I haven't come for you, and you dare turn on me? Get out, out. This is my house. He lunged, grabbing her white throat, shoving her toward the window. She struggled in pain, like a fallen swan. Her head hung out, hair fluttering. He laughed dryly. Disobey, and I'll throw you out. He slapped her again. I couldn't stand it, grabbing another chair, creeping behind. Sister Ba saw, her face lighting up, lips purple, letting out mocking cries. I know you won't dare. You gave me a dirty disease, shamed me, he shouted, trembling, hand pausing. I seized the moment, smashing the chair into his shoulder. It hit, his back buckling. Sister Ba grabbed his collar, flipped him, and pushed him toward the window. Bit by bit, she forced his neck out, as he'd done to her. He froze, gasping in pain. Disobey, and I'll throw you out, she laughed, echoing him. Guess if I dare. Before he could answer, she let go with one hand. Half his body lurched back, and he scrambled, hooking his legs to the sill, screaming. Cars roared below. If he fell, he'd be crushed. My heart tightened, but Sister Ba quickly pulled him back. He collapsed, panting. Sweat soaked his shirt. She smirked. Got it. I dare. That day, Boscoa left, gray-faced, cursing. When he was gone, Sister Ba fell into my arms. I realized she needed a doctor. The dirty disease he mentioned I didn't understand. Did she give it to him, or he to her? It remained a mystery. That night, we packed and left, returning to a cramped rented room. I kept studying. Sister Ba was hospitalized. Boscoa's money paid her bills. She rushed to recover, eager to find work to support us. I felt like a burden, guilty. She didn't think so, cheerfully saying, you, swinging that chair, so brave, not the scared, crying kid anymore. I told her everyone grows up. One day, I'd protect her. Anyone who bullied her, I'd make them pay. No need to be so ruthless. She ruffled my hair. If you're really mad, a beating's enough. Later, she said, Than Dong, never rely on men. Rely on yourself. I nodded firmly. She beamed, and we high-fived joyfully. I never imagined our reunion would soon shatter. From grades 10 to 12, I paid school fees on time. Teachers and classmates thought I came from a decent family. Once, Sister Ba attended a parent meeting, then went to her bar job, unexpectedly running into a classmate's father socializing there. The news spread fast. Amid a campaign against social evils, bars and karaoke joints were seen as dens of vice, filthy places students dared not think of. The class president drafted a pledge, forcing me to read it at assembly, vowing to cut ties with Sister Ba and not bring bad habits into class. I refused, so friends shunned me, looking at me with disgust, keeping their distance. School pressure mounted, and I started wanting to steal again. Sister Ba knew my habits, watching me closely, but as she settled at the bar, becoming a manager, she couldn't focus on me as much. A decent regular LP only talked to Sister Ba, tipping generously. She liked meeting him, not for money, but because he was handsome. From her descriptions, I was curious, but I didn't expect to meet him in a supermarket security room. I'd stolen a box of imported chocolate and got caught. Two policemen came. The older one smoked outside. The younger one led me away. He removed his cap, revealing sharp features and deep black eyes, like shooting stars, making my heart skip. I was 16, having seen many men, but to this day, he's the only one whose eyes shone like that. Lost in his gaze, I felt scared, ashamed, nowhere to hide. LP didn't scold me, instead patting my shoulder. In that moment, I became my weakest self, bursting into tears. "It's just chocolate. I'll pay," he told the manager, pulling out a worn black wallet. I couldn't see clearly, tears blurring my vision. He firmly grasped my wrist, pulling me out. I kept crying, even in the police car. "Take the kid home," the older officer driving asked. I sobbed, speechless. LP unwrapped the chocolate, gently feeding me a piece. His warm fingers brushed my lips, and I blushed inexplicably. "Eating's not a crime, but you must pay," he said, not noticing my embarrassment, ruffling my hair. "Got it, little one." Near school, I jumped out and ran. I kept the chocolate, unable to eat a bite. Sitting dazed, my lips felt hot, my gaze unfocused, as if he were still there. That night, I couldn't sleep. Closing my eyes, I saw Sister Ba's past in a room with fluttering white curtains, a man pinning a woman to the bed. But now, it wasn't Bosco and Sister Ba, it was LP and me. Days later, I couldn't stop missing him. How to see him again? Maybe only by letting him catch me. So I returned to the supermarket, reaching for the shelf. Luckily, it was him again. Same straight posture, bright eyes, but I was done for. My cheeks burned, heart racing, breathless. Maybe I should cry. Sister Ba said tears were the best weapon against men. But I couldn't cry. I covered my face until his warm hand took my wrist. He sighed. "What's wrong with you, little one?" I lied. I said I had a condition if I didn't steal. I couldn't lie. A TV drama had a character with a similar psychological issue, the perfect excuse. He hesitated, then wrote a number on my palm. "Next time you want to steal, call me, okay?" Cell phones were new then, and his personal number made him seem rich and alluring. I memorized it, running to public phones after school to call him. Too timid to wait for him to answer, I'd let it ring a few times and hang up. Just thinking of calling him thrilled me. Once, he answered first. "Thandung." His voice was clear, firm. "What's up?" My heavy breathing answered. He seemed to sense my feelings, quickly saying, "Where are you?" "I'll come." We met 5 times like that. The 6th was when I ran to the bar to find Sister Ba. Under flickering lights, he sat casually on a high stool in civilian clothes. Sister Ba was animatedly telling jokes by his ear. He smiled, listening, until he saw me, his expression freezing. "Thandung, why are you here?" Sister Ba was surprised, turning to him. "Sorry, this is my little sister." "Sister," he accepted my new identity, flashing a bright smile, extending his hand. "Hi, I'm LP." I was nervous, hesitantly shaking his hand, feeling like a bowl of milk about to spill. He was gentle, carefully shaking my hand twice, winking secretly, reaching a silent agreement. He didn't expose my theft, And I didn't reveal he was a cop. We were in sync, accepting each other's new identities before Sister Ba. Still, I was cautious, not daring to call him often. But I could use helping Sister Ba as an excuse to visit the bar. He mostly talked to her, occasionally teasing me harmlessly. That was enough. I found nothing brighter than him. Even with Sister Ba, radiant as the sun, between us. What was I? I suffered from my jealousy. 2 months later, Sister Ba said LP planned a birthday party for her at a famous Hanoi restaurant. She took leave from the bar for a romantic date. He might propose. But you said you don't remember your birthday. I said weakly. Silly, it's fine. Whatever's on my ID is my birthday. That fool hasn't said a romantic word, she chuckled, murmuring, maybe he's serious about me. I should be too. I watched her meticulously apply makeup, curl her hair into waves, apply sweet scented cream, paint her toenails red. She was like a knight blooming serious, preparing for her one radiant moment. Her excitement filled the air, but it made me restless. Yes, LP would surely propose. He visited daily, talked to her, never acted improperly, carefully chose a birthday venue. It all pointed to one outcome: they'd be together. I couldn't bear it, couldn't believe I was angry at her happiness. Eat something tonight, don't starve, she said, placing 100,000 yen on the table, voice shy. Lock the door. I don't know when I'll be back. I stayed silent, watching her graceful figure leave joyfully from the window. I didn't take the money and planned to go out. That winter night, I broke into a shop. As I emptied the cash drawer, an alarm blared. Someone rushed in, roughly grabbing me. The shop owner beat me, blood streaming from my nose, my left eye swollen shut, screaming in despair. At the police station, I saw the familiar older officer, who recognized me. LP must have told him about me. He sighed, telling a colleague, call LP. In the interrogation room, I knew nothing could be hidden. My theft, LP's job all exposed when he rushed back with Sister Ba. Seeing me, she exploded, grabbing my collar, slapping me. I let you break in. I let you steal. Why won't you improve? Why? Her cries drowned her scolding. But I couldn't cry anymore. Years ago, she'd teared up joyfully when I unlocked her chain, never expecting she'd hate me like this. LP pulled the raging Sister Ba away, letting a colleague take her out. He sat opposite me, brushing my hair, inspecting my wounds, clucking his tongue. I thought you wouldn't bother with me, I said softly, brave for once. He paused. So you tested me like this? I thought you were busy loving Sister Ba. I said, eyes down. He sighed. Are you jealous? It was like a boom, my body aflame. He'd seen through me, damn it. I thought he didn't notice. I couldn't speak. We sat silently, only our heavy breathing audible. Don't toy with me, okay? He finally said, voice gentle, almost pleading. My heart ached, eyes red. Promise me no more stealing, he said softly, lifting my face, wiping my forehead's wound. If you can't stop, call me. I'll come. Forced to face his gentle, vivid expression, I wanted to say yes, but my throat failed. So I leaned forward, lightly kissing his lips. God, I kissed him. I still remember the feeling of kissing the one I loved. Joy burst through the sky. I forgot my wounds, my theft, the pain of being scolded, feeling only my heart leaping, the world changing colors, even LP before me. He froze, eyes bewildered. I grinned mischievously. If this was a battle, I was the victor. Seconds later, he touched his lips and smiled. From then, I guessed we were in love. He paid my fine, took me to a restaurant. Though Sister Ba sat angrily beside us, I knew his gaze on me had changed. She was too smart not to notice. She probed our relationship subtly, persistently. She'd dress up, invite him dancing, even boldly ask him over, eyes seductive, body alluring, as if proving she could take him back. But I was thrilled LP didn't waver. He seemed to love being with me, my playfulness, my mischief. He drove me around, took me to see the sea at night. We stopped under dim streetlights, kissing long, gentle kisses. He smelled clean, crisp, reminding me of Pa's winter. I told him I imagined us embracing in heavy rain, leaving footprints. He ruffled my hair. You love spring rain? Are you a northerner? I didn't tell him about Pa, our eternal secret, but he shared his secrets. He'd always wanted to be an outstanding cop, helping the unfortunate. I was one of them, so he cherished me. His bar visits were to investigate prostitution reports. So you got close to Sister but just to get information? I couldn't help asking. He flipped my nose. Know what I like about you? You're smart. You act weak, but you understand more than anyone. I tensed. Really? You just used her? Sensing my shock, he laughed dryly. She's the bar manager, knows the staff. It's normal to get info from her. She's beautiful, knows how to charm men, but sometimes misreads her appeal. He looked into my eyes. But you're different, Fan Dung. From the first time in the security room, clinging to my sleeve, crying, I saw you were special. I can't describe that feeling. It was a deep confession. I should have been happy, but my heart felt heavy, breathless. That night, the streetlight went out, our embrace, odd. He tried unbuttoning my shirt in the dark. I stopped him. I refused him often, unsure if it was fear or disgust. My father's shadow lingered. But Sister Ba noticed, one night insisting on talking to LP. You can love my sister, but as her elder, I have words for you, she said, lighting a cigarette in the cool breeze. It took several tries to light it. LP smiled. What words? You can't take her out overnight. She glanced at me. She's too young, understand, he laughed. I'll respect her wishes. This respects my wishes, she said firmly, her eyes cold, emotionless, fully giving up on competing for him. All right, I'll listen, he said. I promise, okay? She snorted, pulling me away. It was another night we held hands in winter, thinking the road from foggy Pa would widen, but it felt like a maze, uncertain if we were on the right path. She whispered, Fan Dung, you have a boyfriend. How's it feel? I didn't know how to answer. It wasn't concern but genuine curiosity. Despite her experience with men, she'd never had a boyfriend, so she was curious. I could have said I was happy with LP, but that joy was fragile, easily marred. Since learning his true reason for approaching Sister Ba, a crack formed, my joy tinged with fear. Near LP attended a commendation as a young police representative. He returned, saying a new leader from Pa had arrived. Someone jokingly said the leader once sent his secretary to fetch girls, but they escaped, stabbing the secretary. The incident was hushed up, as it looked bad. This leader was sensitive about prostitution, ordering crackdowns and setting arrest quotas. I listened in horror, mind blank, slowly regaining composure. The past we left behind was catching up. What if Secretary VN came here? What if he saw Sister Ba and accused us? I was terrified, unable to imagine the outcome. LP pulled me close, saying seriously, the arrest quota's looming, and I've no leads. Fan Dung, can you help me? My heart sank, thinking he wanted me to ask Sister before leads. But his next words stunned me. I'll give you some business cards. He handed me cards with a bare-chested girl and a phone number. Slip them into Sister Ba's bag. When I lead a raid, they'll be perfect evidence. You want me to frame my sister? My voice trembled, fear exploding. Not exactly framing, he hugged me. The bar's shady, I just lack proof. She's just staff, any big crime won't touch her. Even if she's arrested, don't worry, I've got it. I leaned into him, calming my breath. He was right. Even if she was caught, he'd protect her. Fan Dung, you'll help me. If I complete this, the Bureau will reward me. I'll invite you to the ceremony. I want to show everyone you're my girlfriend, he whispered. Girlfriend hit like magic, my heart racing. I'd been one man's daughter, abused by him. I'd always wanted a new identity, to be someone. Elm LP never said he loved me, never introduced me to family or colleagues. But now, he called me his girlfriend. Was this my rebirth? Do it? I wondered hazily. Without an answer, I slipped the cards into Sister Buz's red bag. I didn't know that night's vice crackdown was the city's most shocking raid. Countless bars, karaoke joints, and massage parlors were hit, police storming in, prepared, arresting over 100. Years later, when that leader was jailed for corruption, voices demanded justice for the raid. Over half the arrests were based on setups like Elm LPs. To some, they were just numbers for quotas, but they lost so much. Sister Ba was one. When her bag was torn open, filthy cards scattering, she stood frozen, as if seeing a downpour. Before she could look at me, she was slammed onto a table, handcuffed. Her white sweater dirtied, one high heel lost. I picked it up, chasing the police van. There, I saw Elm LP. Let her put on her shoe, the ground's cold. I banged the van, pleading. He looked at me coldly, then told the driver, drive. The van roared off, crushing me. I ran after it, soon realizing my stupidity and futility. I didn't cry that day, finally understanding Sister Buz's words. Most times, terrors were useless, except to manipulate others. To please the leader, those arrested faced harsh sentences. Because of the cards, the bar owner denied involvement, making Sister Ba the scapegoat, heavily sentenced. I begged Elm LP, who'd promised help, but he only patted my head, saying helplessly, "Little one, I handle things fairly." When I kept going to the station, he grew annoyed. Rumors spread he might show favoritism. For ambitious Elm LP, this was fatal. He told me himself to stop coming. Oddly, his words echoed Sister Ba's. She'd said men weren't reliable. I thought I believed her. But with Elm LP, all warnings vanished, love creating blind faith that destroyed everything. Maybe she was right. He wasn't wrong, I was. Looking at him, no matter how resolute his gaze, I gritted my teeth. I was sincere with you. That sincerity still lingers. Then keep it for someone else. I don't need it, he said, eyes red but ruthless. How you were with me, be with others. Clinging to me is useless. I can't handle your sister's case. I stumbled from the station, vision darkening. Every door I pushed seemed marked no entry, and without Sister Ba, how could I go on? At home, I took her savings, trying every way to help, finally meeting her. Through the glass, she said, "No more stealing. Wait for me." I bit my lip, not crying. She must have known I planted the cards, but didn't blame me. Looking into her eyes, I remembered my promise. Anyone who hurt her, I'd make them pay. Sister Ba got 5 years. The night she entered prison, I broke into Elm LP's apartment. I didn't steal, just smashed everything in sight. Done. I left, running and crying in the cold night, vowing it was my last break-in. While she was in prison, life grew calm. I graduated, became a librarian. Days in the quiet library felt safe. Weekends, I took pottery classes, selling crafts at markets, bringing pretty ones to Sister Ba for amusement. In prison, she remained the center, charming everyone from guards to wardens. They liked her, gave her light tasks, let me bring food often. She still loved peanut candy and jerky, hiding them like treasures in her prison uniform, sneaking a piece with a childlike smile. Seeing her thrive, I relaxed. In pottery class, I met Vin, a reserved government worker, like a sturdy rock. After Elm LP, I grew guarded, hard to trust, staying quiet in a corner. Vin was in another. This created an unspoken bond. We started greeting each other after a while. I thought him cold, but he was surprisingly gentle. Talking to me, he'd shyly lower his eyes. After the course, he hesitantly asked me to dinner. I agreed. His surprised smile warmed me, and he opened up. I told him I was 25, a librarian, with only a sister working far away. It sounded clean, and he trusted me, opening his heart. "I'm 6 years older. If you need help, find me," he said after dinner, mustering courage. I'm reliable, great, I replied casually. I'm shy, parents strict, only loved a girl in school, he said, embarrassed. You won't laugh. I couldn't help laughing. He looked panicked. Was his panic like mine with Elm LP? The thought passed, and I nodded, suppressing emotions. Vin and I dated 2 years. Sister Ba said food and sex are human nature should be joyful. But for me, it wasn't. Sometimes, my vision blurred, seeing my father pinning me, then Sister Ba with the hoe, her hands bloody, his head mangled. When done, Vin slept soundly, but I lay awake, horrified. The murder nightmare returned, and I realized I needed salvation. Soon, I moved into his apartment. We imagined married life. I was moved if I'd lacked passion before, fearing our love wasn't real. Now, about to be his wife, things felt different. My longed for rebirth seemed near, but I never told Vin about Sister Ba. The day I picked her up, I lied, saying she was returning from the countryside, unaware I was dating, asking him not to appear yet. I told her about Vin during visits. She asked if I liked him. I mimicked her old words like what? That he likes me. She giggled, and I laughed along. But Vin was truly lovable. I only realized when I lost him. For 2 days after her release, I let her stay in a rented place. She wasn't used to the outside world, clinging to me, asking questions, fumbling with the new phone I bought. On the 3rd day, Vin came, polite, not prying about Sister Ba, happily driving us around. I bought her clothes, took her for a haircut. She'd gained weight, less agile, but still beautiful. I saw it in Vin's eyes. Compared to the phone, she seemed more interested in him. This man, cold as ice when silent, was shy privately. She teased him, her laughter growing louder. Vin looked to me for help. I just smiled, shaking my head. Let her be. She missed freedom after years in prison. Maybe I imagined it, but the more he avoided her, the more she chased him like a flame. Opening the car door, she'd pout, I want the front seat. At restaurants, she'd insist he guide her to the bathroom, scared of getting lost. Vin always blushed, flustered, but watching, I felt odd, sometimes like seeing her with my father, sometimes like me with Elm LP. A month later, she suggested moving in with us. Jobless, she felt guilty making me pay her rent, saying living together was better, promising not to disturb us. She missed me, wanting closeness, flirting with Vin, making him flush. I saw a shadow in my heart, but before I could refuse, Vin said, she's not a stranger. Let her move in. I soon sensed a change. Vin grew attentive to her. Compared to my indifference, she was more engaging. She disliked my cooking, calling me clumsy. When discussing food, she'd pout, don't like this, that's not good, only smiling when Vin coaxed her. When he watched TV, she'd sit close, drying her hair or painting her nails. After learning to text, she messaged him constantly, even at home, lingering before bed. They shared secrets, talking about things I didn't understand. Their gazes sparkled like shooting stars. Vin sometimes worried I'd overthink, casually mentioning Sister Ba, but I felt superfluous. He tried balancing, but she'd entwined him, growing closer, sharing endless private talks. Was it her nature, testing her charm? I couldn't tell. Once, Vin blushed at my gaze, humming happily in my arms. Now, it faded. Each time he smiled for her, I wondered, was I not good enough, not lovable? Could I not match her light? If so, guiltily, I wished she'd stayed in prison. Winter came, wet and cold, with endless rain. Sister Ba caught a cold, quickly worsening. I wanted to take her to the hospital. She refused, childishly, wanting Vin by her side. He came, staying in her room long. When he emerged, he scolded me for poor care, wrong fever medicine, buying takeout instead of cooking porridge. His first time blaming me, I stopped hearing clearly. His words were a facade, saying he cared for her. I cried, forcing tears to fall, hoping he'd pity me. But he pushed me away coldly. Stop pretending to be pitiful. Sister Ba said you're best at this to manipulate men. Didn't you steal that cop from her like this? My heart shook. Despite my frustrations, I never thought she'd twist our past to tell Vin. Rage clouded my mind, like being thrown into a maze, every obstacle bearing her face. She told you? I lifted my chin, turning to her room. He sighed, confirming. You believe her filthy lies. I stepped toward her door, and don't ask me. As I turned the knob, Vin rushed over, forcing a smile to calm me. Don't be mad, she's sick. Yes, he was gentle. Worried about her, scared I'd startle her. But what about me? His kindness to her showed I didn't matter. I think I smiled, tears falling, but still smiled. I pushed the door, striding to her bedside. Like a child, she curled in blankets, face flushed with fever, looking innocent. Fan Dung, don't. Vin followed, pulling me. She spoke first. What's the fuss? You ask me what? I glared, voice trembling. Since you came back, nothing's been good. What do you mean? She sat up, eyes gleaming, glancing at Vin, nodding as if realizing. Oh, you're mad I told him about you and LMLP. You're taking revenge. Rage drove me mad. What do you want? She laughed coldly. What can I do? I just pray you don't betray me for a man again. I pray for justice. Before she finished, I grabbed a glass of hot water and threw it at her. It was scalding, a few drops on my hand stung. She didn't react in time, hit in the face, screaming like a wounded cat, gut-wrenching. You're crazy. Vin grabbed my collar, yanking me. He was too strong. I fell, the glass shattering loudly. She's right, you look weak but are crueler than anyone. He scolded, ignoring me, wiping her face with a cloth. I lay on the cold floor, unable to rise. Vin draped a coat over her, rushing her to the hospital. Their footsteps passed me. I felt everything crumble, like lying on melting ice, about to sink. I didn't cry, exhausted. Standing, I packed, anger fading, leaving deep defeat. All these years, she never stopped hating me, and she had that right. She hated me because the pain I caused lingered. Until it faded, I didn't deserve happiness. I left with simple luggage, staying in the library dorm, then renting a small room, avoiding Vin. Sister Ba found me a few times, mostly speaking for him. Half-jokingly, she said she'd slept with him, found it dull, and wanted to return him. I told her to keep or discard him as she wished. She got anxious, raising her voice. Fan Dung, our sisterhood was life and death. Can a man break it? At worst, you stole from me once, I stole from you once square. Her panic was almost funny. I wanted to say I never meant to steal anyone. With LP, it wasn't competition, just pure love. But I couldn't speak, so she left. From the window, I watched her clumsy, hesitant steps, unsure how to describe it. In that moment, she seemed older, but who stays young forever? We were apart 3 years. We kept in touch, calling occasionally. As she said, our bond shouldn't break over a man. But returning to our old closeness was impossible. I sent her monthly living expenses, a debt I owed, which she accepted. At TT, with no family, I'd check on her, and we'd feel better. She worked as a supermarket clerk, quickly fitting in. I changed a lot. Library work, let me read and study. I pursued a part-time master's, started writing. Those years went smoothly. My articles sold well, earning a magazine column and some fame. An editor, Mindiji, handled my work, and frequent contact brought us together. DG made me a star. He said thoughtful people weren't rare, but beautiful and thoughtful ones were. I smiled inwardly, taking it as a compliment. Over the years, I'd grown, my figure fuller, features sharper, hair shoulder length. Many called me beautiful. I didn't object. But having seen Sister Ba's radiant beauty dim, I knew the chill behind it. At 31, I got pregnant. Mindiji saw it as good news and proposed. No reason to refuse. I didn't like complicating things. We planned no ceremony, just a meal with friends. I still wanted to invite Sister Ba, so I visited her supermarket. In the crowd, she stood out. Her black hair was tied back, but she'd thinned, her collarbone sharp, like she'd fly away. Seeing wrinkles on her face, I felt pained, but her laughter still drew men. It comforted her, I thought. She sold crafts, her stall full of jade and agate quantum statues. I told her I was marrying, expecting a child. She was thrilled, insisting on gifting me a quantum statue for joy, showing me each one. Her worn sweater sleeve shocked me. Once the most refined, beautiful woman, she was now disheveled. It made her distant, unfamiliar, scaring me. I didn't want her gift but couldn't resist, choosing a porcelain vase with green herbs. She praised my taste, calling it Quantum's purifying vase, said to ward off calamity, turning danger to safety. We agreed she'd join Mendiji and me at the supermarket for the wedding. She happily agreed, pinching my waist, whispering, "Don't worry, I'll behave, not ruin your happiness." Her words made me uneasy. I left quickly, bumping into someone who didn't move, hesitantly saying, "Fandong." I froze. The man, heavier, hair short, had black eyes with a piercing light LMLP. God, I hadn't seen him since Sister Ba's arrest. Years later, his appearance stunned me. I nearly ran, but he blocked me, saying he wanted to talk. We walked side by side on a noisy road, old images flooding my mind. I wondered how to start, but he lowered his voice. "Your sister killed someone, right?" LP was still a cop, diligent but poor at networking. His past setup in the raid was exposed, earning heavy punishment. Now he was just a team leader. Recently, he got a case. A Sapa construction project unearthed bones. Locals said years ago, two girls stabbed someone and fled, possibly linked. He recalled the Sapa leader's story of his stabbed secretary. The leader was now jailed for corruption. LP found the secretary, asking about the incident. Time blurred many clues, but the secretary clearly said one girl was Sapa's famous call girl, called Sister Ba. Saying this, he stared into my eyes, but I couldn't meet his gaze. My fingers ice cold. I shook my head, too naive to improvise like Sister Ba. To me, speaking more meant more. I couldn't help crying. Perhaps feeling guilty, he didn't press, only patting my shoulder. "If you're living well, don't see Sister Ba anymore." I grew frantic. He was investigating her. If Secretary Vien remembered her appearance, if Dercy was alive, it'd all unravel. She was the mastermind, but I wasn't innocent. My peaceful life, my visible future, was slipping away. Would I live in this nightmare forever? These thoughts drove me to despair. I wanted to tell Sister Ba, let her find a way she always did, but I feared LP seeing, suspecting me. I'd tried so hard to escape the mire. I didn't want to return. Conflicted, time passed. When Mindiji asked about family for the wedding, I didn't mention Sister Ba. Maybe she shouldn't come. I looked at her quantum herbs, rationalizing. If she came, she might bring LP, investigating her. He was my once true love. I didn't want him at my wedding. Besides, our guests were high status. Sister Ba might feel out of place. I convinced myself not to invite her. On the wedding morning, I texted her the time had changed. She didn't reply, and I stared at my phone. Mendiji urged me to go. I followed, forgetting her. The day passed lightly. Friends gave blessings. The food was delicious. On the way home, Mendiji and I laughed, but her lack of reply annoyed me. Did she know I excluded her and was angry? Or was her phone broken? She still used the one I bought post-prison. The next morning, the police called. Sister Ba was arrested. As her only contact, I needed to bring clothes. Before I could process, LP spoke. "Pack up, bring plenty. She won't get out easily." My vision darkened, nearly fainting. My turn was likely coming. Forcing strength, I bought clothes and went to the station. LP met me, saying she'd confessed everything, killing a client years ago, burying him in the mountains, stabbing the secretary, forcing him to drive to the station, but he insisted two girls were in the vehicle. The other one, was it you? He asked. What could I say? My mind blanked. What did I do in the vehicle? Did I cause harm? Was I guilty? If I confessed, would I go to prison? What about my child? I clutched my belly, speechless. Sister Ba said the sister who escaped with her vanished long ago, he said. After leaving Sapa, they parted ways, each to their own fate, dead or alive unknown. With his arrangement, I met her. In the detention center, she was shy, stammering, I'm useless, arrested before your wedding. Wanted to call, but they took my phone. I kept thinking you'd worry, not finding me. I couldn't bear it, nearly covering my ears. Each word cut like a knife. She continued, I told them you're an orphan. I took you in because you were pitiful. My past has nothing to do with you. Don't worry, live well. When I die, collect my ashes. They say death row inmates here are cremated right away. State handles it, no burden for you. Good, right, no, I cried. You won't die. We'll appeal, no, the two things I believe most. She looked at me, eyes teary. Murderers pay with their lives, debtors pay debts. No escaping. I'll pay with my life, I accept. As long as you're not implicated, my death for your good life makes my pain worthwhile. If I'm not okay, you won't be either. My life's wasted. That day, I cried until the world blurred, but my heart was oddly clear. I knew I had to heed her. One sacrifice needed the other to fulfill it. If I caused trouble, it'd only hurt her more, with no gain. During the investigation and trial, I was called as a witness. Since she'd erased me from her story, the police only asked about our relationship over the years, harmless questions that kept me safe. When LP, handling the case, asked why she killed, she said, he abused me. He pressed, you were a prostitute, many abused you. Why only him? She paused, then straightened, because he also abused my sister. Some marveled, someone really killed for a sister? In that moment, she smiled radiantly. That's men, she said boldly, always underestimating women, underestimating sisterhood. In a flash, I saw us running hand in hand through the rainy night, her saying, men aren't reliable, high-fiving. Vivid images hit me hard. I left the courtroom. Mindiji followed, asking if I was okay. I said I was fine, her breath rooting in me. I smiled, telling him, don't underestimate women's strength. Sister Bo was sentenced to death. We met once more. We sat silently, not distant, but hearts aligned, feeling it was enough to be together. Near the end, she asked about the quantum herbs. I said they thrived, maybe truly magical. She smiled, saying she'd heard the herbs in Quantum's hands saved beings. Those seeking Buddhahood had herbs supporting their feet. When desires burned, the herbs bore the pain, enduring suffering for others' enlightenment. My heart stirred. You're my quantum herbs, I said. But before I finished, she smiled, pressing a finger to her lips, shushing me. Then she left before my eyes. It was our last meeting. Her end, as she said, was a small box of ashes. Pregnant then, LP didn't want me to collect them directly, so he informed Mindiji. Unaware of our bond, he treated it lightly. With the ashes was a short, cheerful letter she wrote in prison, saying her life wasn't bad. She'd tasted lust, joy, and sorrow. Her pride was living boldly, acting decisively, avenging wrongs, never letting anyone trample her. She worried for me, fearing my timidity, hoping her courage would pass to me when she died, so I'd live strongly, be a good mother. She asked me to bury her ashes in simple ground, no need for feng shui, and include the needle I'd used to free her, as a keepsake. She said it gave her freedom, her most precious thing. Pregnant, I did it myself. LP drove me, digging the earth. That day, the wind was strong, blowing smoke into his face as he smoked. He coughed, eyes seeming wet. I didn't cry. He had no reason to grieve, but before life and death, people soften. I watched him from afar. He seemed to want to comfort me, but I shushed him. Too much separated us, words didn't matter. It was too late. I'd freed her with the needle, giving her a chance at freedom. She, in turn, freed the chains in my heart. Those who loved, hated, hurt, and protected me were my quantum herbs, saving me, becoming part of me. Her lessons, I understood. Others' love no longer defined me. I'd live by my own rules. After my daughter was born, I took her to Sapa, watching clouds blanket the land. She rolled on the grass, fearless. Mindiji watched her, laughing. Where'd she get this boldness? I was happy, hoping she'd stay that way. I'd tell her half of Sister Ba's lessons, letting her discover the rest as she grew. Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. Please subscribe to our channel to not miss the next captivating story.